We're at the pointy end of the season now, boys. It is episode 37 of Miami Masterclass. Can't believe we're 37 episodes in, and I still haven't even come close to making the divisional series. But we are in the month of August. That's what we're going to run through in this month. This one should be a very, very quick episode, unlike the last few, because there's not much to talk about, really. We don't have any sort of drafts to talk about. We don't have any international free agents. We have nothing like that, so it should just be a quick zoom through. Let's see how we do. If you haven't been watching for the last few episodes, we're sitting pretty at the top of the standings here. We've just pushed to 5 games ahead of the Braves. We were sort of hovering around 2.5, 3 for quite some time. But the last few days, obviously, Atlanta have sort of slumped ever so slightly, dropped a couple of games here or there to give us that lead, which is not much at all. So we're going to quickly zoom through this month. This will probably only be like a 15-minute episode, but then I usually say, this will be a quick episode, guys. I know you don't want to watch 40 minutes, and then it'll drag on for about 30. So let's try and do as quick as possible here, because, there's not a lot to talk about in August, really. You're just sort of setting up for that September, that final run-in for the playoffs. As while I think of it, the Phillies are actually closing that gap, aren't they? They're only 9 games back, and don't quote me on it, and I'm sure someone will be a bit more tuned in than myself, but they were sort of a good 15, 16 games back a few episodes ago, and they're slowly closing that gap. I think they're perhaps a little bit too far behind us, but then should I have said that? Because that's famous last words, because it looks like we've dropped a couple of games, and the Phillies are actually really catching up to Atlanta here. As long as we keep that 4-game lead over the Braves, I'll be happy. Because the Braves have got that last wildcard spot, and the Phillies are only 3 games back from it. So between the two of them, they've got a lot to play for. Pedro Baez is back from injury. Now, is it worth demoting anyone? We've got so let's go get out of those splits. Let's go for the regular season and see if there's anyone that's been really poor. So Sherfy's come up and he's doing all right. Admittedly, he's only made 4 innings, played 4 innings, made 2 appearances, but he's not worth demoting. Then you got someone like Dan Slania, 407. Justin DeFratis has had a bit of a poor start. Addison Reed. Now, is Baez a lefty? I'm not even sure. Shows what I know. Whereas he's a righty. So I wouldn't want to get rid of someone like Reed, because he is a... he throws right. Oh, gee, what am I doing? He bats left. So we don't actually have any lefties in the bullpen, so that makes life a little bit easier. Now, is Baez... Oh, jeez, what am I doing? I'm all over the place here with my screens. What's Baez? See, Baez has putting up fantastic numbers, so he certainly deserves his spot back in the team. So what I might do is I don't know if Addison Reed, because he might be a bit old. Can he go down to AAA? I don't think he can he? Oh, he can. There you go. Bugger off, Addison Reed. I don't want you anymore. Your numbers aren't fantastic, are they? He was our closer last year, and he's, done appallingly this season. So let's bring Baez back in, if I can ever find out where I am. We want disabled list, and we want Baez back in the team. Nope, that's the 40-man roster. We will get there, guys. We will get there. That's how episodes drag out to 40 minutes, if you didn't realise. Anyone that really stands out, worth talking? Avery Romero has been absolutely on fire down in AAA. He certainly deserves a call-up. Someone I haven't actually heard too much about, and I expected to hear quite a lot from him, is Chavez, actually. He's got leading the runs batted in, leading home runs, but I expected a lot more from him, because our head scout thinks he's very, very good, and he's not that bad. But he's actually very similar to Avery Romero in that regard, so between the two of them, they should be able to come up in September and possibly hold their own. But we are, 12 days into the month. We're only 3.5 games ahead of the Braves, which I did say 5 games wasn't nearly enough. And it looks like we're taking on Colorado in 4 games. Then we've got Cincinnati. So where's Colorado? So they're playing under 500, and Cincinnati have been poor for many, many years. So if any of you guys watching are Reds fans, then this must be torture, because I do the same thing. I'm a Giants fan, and I always have a quick glance down at the Giants, even if I don't mention it on the video. But to be a Reds fan on this save would be absolute dregs. It'd be awful. I'd hate it. So we're holding that 3-game series. Holding that 3-game lead over the Braves. But the Phillies have really closed that gap in with the Atlanta. Atlanta just must be, that's not good. 6 days. Andrew McCutcheon out for 6 days. I won't bother changing him. putting him on the disabled list. But yeah, it must just be something about the end of the season with the Braves, because a couple of years ago when we squeezed into the wildcard spot, we very nearly won the division. They just sort of collapsed, and now they're not really doing that well this time. Although, again, famous last words, because we're only 2.5 games ahead of them at the moment, as it looks like we actually lost to Cincinnati. So perhaps I shouldn't have insulted them and their fans for supporting them. I mean, the Phillies have really come in. I mean, they're playing over 500 ball. We've actually got a very tough division, I think. I mean, Washington and the Mets clearly aren't the best. But we can't really say that there's a really weak, player a weak team in the division. Because all of them can sort of beat each other, as we've just lost our Monte now for 2 to 3 weeks. So let's place him on the disabled list. Now, is it worth promoting someone from the Zephyrs? Is there anyone that really stands out from the Zephyrs that deserves a call-up? We want to go to batting stats. In AAA, get rid of that stupid thing off. Where are we? 227, 245, 260. We want like Chase. See, Chase Patterson's been putting up good numbers in catcher, so he could be a good backup for Schwarber. Although those ratings are a little low. I mean, those ratings are the exact same colour as his beard, so that's never promising. Doesn't really look like anyone deserves a massive call. Austin Watts or Waits possibly, but actually those numbers are poor, aren't they? He's 30. I didn't think he was nearly as old as that. How he's still in the team, then I've got no idea. Austin Dean, that's who I was. That must be who I was thinking of. I mean, he perhaps deserves a call-up. He had a few games with us and wasn't doing too badly. He obviously came up in the September call-ups. Perhaps I'll give him another punt. Just to... but then, should I call Austin Dean up, or should I call up someone like Romero, who's been doing fantastically well? Maybe I'll call Romero up, because... But then, actually, you know what? Maybe not, because we don't... I mean, it looks like he's injured as well, so we could be losing another outfielder here. So maybe not, actually. I might bring Schwarber back into... what position does he play? Left field. Because we can always throw Raul Muto into the catcher. Casey Saltis, he can play centre field. I mean, we got Kutch, so I don't think he's going to take over him. But, I mean, we could be losing Pulaski to injury here. So what I will do... I will actually call up Romero. Even better if he can play first base, but he can't. But then, maybe not, you see. Maybe not. Maybe I bring up someone... Oh, I don't know. It's either Austin Dean, who can play left field. He can, actually, you know what? He looks promising, because he can play centre field, albeit poorly, and he can play right field. But then we've got Casey Saltis, who can play centre field as well. And... depending on how long Pulaski's out, he might be back soon. And it's only for a couple of weeks until our Monte comes back. So yeah, look, I'm thinking too much into this. Austin Dean gets the call up. Now, just have a quick look through the news, just in case there's anything now. Yeah, that upset me. That's annoyed me. I'm not even going to mention that. You guys didn't see that. So we've lost Alonso. My goodness, we've lost him for a very, very long time. 14 months. Hopefully he wasn't going to be anything good. Doesn't look like it. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get a news item soon about him retiring. As there's not a great deal. So let's just go read all messages. Let's keep going through the month. Injuries are starting to mount up a little bit. We've only got a week to go. As Atlanta have caught up to us. That's not good. I really didn't want to see this. Now, how long's Pulaski's out for 3 months? So that's basically Pulaski's season done with a hamstring strain. So that's a little bit frustrating. So let's place him on the disabled list. 60-dayer. So Austin Dean is almost certainly going to keep his spot in the lineup now, because he can play everywhere. But then do we... Now I think I might bring up someone like Romero... or possibly, or maybe even bring up another reliever. Maybe bring up Addison Reed back. You know, he could be... That could be a good call, actually. Bring another reliever up. But Oh, decisions. I think Romero deserves a call up because he looks very good actually, and he doesn't deserve to be sitting down there in AAA, as we've just lost again to Colorado. We've had another poor finish to the month, I think. Oh, come on. 2.5 games, that's all right. I mean, Atlanta and Philly are right in there. They're right in that hunt for the wildcard spot, but I mean, it's no guarantee that we've sewn up the division. So we've got to keep an eye on that wild card, just so we don't fall too close to it. Although we've started to pick up a couple of games. I mean, we are in the middle of a series against Washington, so that does help. As Atlanta must be dropping a few games here. We'll actually have a look at that. So that brings a close to September, and we're still somehow holding our own. So let's have a quick look then, just to sum it up. So we are only 3 games ahead of the Braves. 31 is our magic number. But Philly are hot on the heels as well. So I mean, if we have a bad series against Philly, because it looks like we've got a series against them coming up soon after Washington. I mean, the Mets and the Nationals are out of it. In terms of the wild card, though, I mean, I think we're definitely going to get into the playoffs. I think we could probably say that. Even if it's a wild card spot, I think we've pretty much got that sewn up. But then, again, who knows? That's baseball, isn't it? So as we have a quick look then at the month, who's done really poorly this month of August? Oh, that's some big numbers. Aaron Blair had a bad one. Magnifico's still really struggling. Alvarez has had a bad month. We've just had a very poor month, haven't we? Really, no one's been putting up great numbers in the pitching department. I hope that's not the players averaging out now, because Youngman and Finnegan, who did very well, they've had poor months. Adam Conley's always solid. I expected a little bit better than Aaron Blair, and truth be told, I didn't expect Magnifico to be that bad. I didn't expect him to be putting up ERA of 2 or anything, but I expected it better than that. So that's poor viewing, isn't it? That is really disappointing viewing. But if we go to the lineups, I mean, Real Muto, he's just getting worse and worse and worse. It looks like Cron has actually been dropped, because it looks like AJ Reed is now our starting first baseman, but admittedly that's against right-handed pitchers, and Reed is of course a lefty. But in saying that, the game started, Reed's got quite a lot more. Joe Panic had a very, very good month. Romero's actually come up. Actually, he's made a start, made 6 plate appearances. He's holding his own. He's not doing too badly there. Ruben Tejada struggling a little bit, but numbers are still decent. Castellanos hovering around that 250. Profile back to what we know best from him, nothing. Austin Dean, he made 1 appearance, but he didn't actually have a plate appearance there, so he must have come on as a pinch runner or something, or maybe just a defensive sub. Kyle Schwarber, 240, not terrible, over that 100 ops plus. Soltis has actually done very, very well, so he's... where's he playing? He must be playing in left field quite regularly because of Schwarber being in catcher. McCutcheon, 218, he's declined slightly too. Mazzara, 252. So not the best month, really, for us. In fact, that's our worst month in the season, because in July we were 15-9, and this was our first under 500 ball month, 12-16. So let's hope this isn't, us just collapsing right at the end. I mean, after making fun of Atlanta for collapsing and look like they're struggling, we're not doing much better. So, fingers crossed. We've got a pretty tough month, really. We've got Washington, we got the Phillies. We have to take 2 games out of those Phillies. Mets should be able to knock them over. Then we've got this 7-game stretch here. We're travelling to Atlanta, and then we're home to the Phillies. That is going to basically make or break our season, because then we play the Phillies again, and the Braves, I should say. Play the Braves again, and then probably the Phillies? No. So we've got quite a good way to finish our season. We've got Washington and we've got the Mets, so they're going to be out of contention. They're going to be playing their backup players, giving them some exposure. So hopefully, if we haven't sort of sewn up the division, then we've got a good chance of taking quite a few games, and at the very least squeezing into the wild card spot. So it's put us in a very good position. But this middle of September is huge, because 4 games against Atlanta, then 3 games against the Phillies, then we play the Rays. How are the Rays getting on? And then we play 3 games against Atlanta again. So not good. So the Rays are dead last. So that's going to be a good confidence booster. If we struggle against Atlanta and the Phillies, and of course play the Phillies at the beginning of this stretch of games too, if we're struggling a little bit here, that 3 games should hopefully get us back into the winning ways. Then we play Atlanta again. So, tough. It's tough. I mean, I'd love to just win this comfortably, but then where's the fun in watching me suffer? So thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you pop a like on there if you enjoyed today's episode, and I'll see you again in a couple of days for that run into the playoffs, where we could be making our second appearance. Only our second appearance in the playoffs. That shows how bad I am at this game. Thanks for watching, guys.